Okay, so welcome back. We'll be continuing with the modeling of this lighter, and what we'll be doing in this one video is this metal guard piece. We will be giving it a little bit of thickness, and we'll be detailing those ventilation ports. So what I suggest is we box in the frame to tighten up a bit first before we approach the ventilation slit. So what we'll be doing is we'll be leaving this, if we run this smooth on this, this smoothing of this one stepping is perfect for that part of the lighter. So what we'll be doing is we'll only be tightening up at the bottom to bring these corners in, and then this will be more or less the perfect shape that we need. So to accomplish that, I'll go to Edge Tool, select the Add Loop, Add Loop tool. If ever you're not focused on whatever you're working on, hold the Shift button in and press A, and then it will automatically focus back on that thing. So let's say I'm looking totally towards the other side, like to the bottom, and Shift A, it brings me to focus on that same angle, but on the item that I have selected when selected here. Alright, so let's drop those lines. I think 2 will be necessary to keep it as sharp as we need on that corner. We need a very tight corner there. So zoom in pretty close, and say somewhere like there, and then hold Shift in and put another one about way up. Press Shift to drop that tool. Now if we run the smooth, we'll see that that corner stays sharp, but this part is still the shape that we require for that metal guard piece. Press Tab again to bring it into square or to non-smooth. Now yeah, let's not be lazy. There's 2 ways to approach this. We can cut this into half, dispose of one side, model out that bit. Yeah, let's do it that way, and instead of doing the same exercise twice. So I'm going to be adding a line which I'll remove later on again. I'll be adding a line there, and I'll be putting that at a smack 50% mark. Shift to drop the tool, and then all of the press 3, and then with middle scroll button, drag all around all of those. Oh no, press 3. No, first 5 to select that shape or that item, and then 3 for the vertices, and a different currency to buy a computer that does not embarrass me. So all of those guys, and we hit delete, so we deleted it. This is how you usually model faces and things that has symmetry to it. So before we tighten up the corners here, let's put this slits in here. So I'll be selecting that, Shift B, click, and I'll be scaling that in just a tad, a little bit. Drop Shift, delete that. Press 2 to select the edges, and double click on that inside, any one of those inside edges. Zoom in a little bit closer, press Z, click again on that one, any one of those edges, and move this down, or not. Use that scale one and move that down a bit, and then press Shift and click again. And then we'll be using that same one outwards, and press R and scale a little bit outwards. So now essentially what it looks like is it's folded on the inside. So then when we smooth, there's a hole without flat edges showing. Okay, so to tighten up those corners, because if we run the smoother now, that's what it looks like. It's circular. So add loop, drop one as close as that, more or less. You'll feel it out after a while. It doesn't need to be exact in this case, unless you're designing for a manufacturer where they usually expect the model to be 100% to scale and dimension. Alright, yeah, the same. Inside of the corners. Drop the two by pressing escape, a spacebar. Now, if we run this, we'll see it's a little better, but we still need to add lines around this shape. So again, Z or add loop there, hold shift in there, hold shift in there, and hold shift in for there. And then repeat the circle and just drop a few lines, one line about that distance from that more closer line that's to the edge. Now if we press shift, look how nice that looks. We can see all the detailing in this. So okay, now what we need to do is we are not going to use the thicken tool for this, and first we need to, before we make it look like there's like a thickness to this plate, we need to duplicate this over. So double 5 or items and select the item, press 3 for polygons and double click any one of them. I'm going to be copying them, Control C as normal, and I'll be adding a new mesh item and Control V to paste into that mesh item. Now I've got a copy, a mirror or a non-mirrored copy. So use this translate, the scale translate, go over to R, and then you drag all of these things and past the 0 point and up to, you click it here, minus 100 on in my case it's the x-axis, but in your case it might be something else. All right, shift. Now we've got that exact look of this side, but look there, it's the wrong side around. So on the inside, double click to select all of those faces and press F for flip. Now they are on the inside. Now you flip the direction that these faces are looking towards. Press 5 and click on that, and from the top view with W or the if you press W and your gizmo is not there, it's because your origin at creation was not on the object. So go to Edit, Center to Bounding Box, Center. Now let's move this as close as possible to, without it touching really, just almost. I'm going to move that thing to the top now by say Edit, Center to Bounding Box, Top. Or no, that's not the top. That's the back. See, I say it's the back because this is the back side of the light here. So we ask that thing to go to the back side of the volume of, or the mass of that polygonal item. Let's move in a little bit closer. So, and just almost until they almost touch. Press Shift and then Control A perspective to go back to the perspective view. Press 5 so that we can select that item, because these are two different meshes, and that one. Now they will be selected in there. Right click on any one of them there and say merge meshes. Say OK. Now press 1 for vertices, and we'll be sewing this. So I want to get as close as possible to use that Shift A thing so that it zooms you into where you are going to work. So select those two, say vertex, say join, average. Okay. There's many ways to do this, and for this one, I just decided we're going to use the join tool. So now you need to go to the next one. So there's going to be a few that we're going to need to join. All right. Here's quite a few. It's good practice, good exercise. Join. Okay. You could drag them and snap the vertices as well together, and use the merge tool by selecting all of the vertices and saying any one of them that touches each other, and that's automatic method. That way you're not going to learn anything really. So select those two, join. You can also use that. I'm actually using the long way around now. We can just say join average. Yeah. Join app. Oh no. Join average. Okay. Join average. This may seem tedious, but there's many smart ways to approach monotonous work, like making a lot of holes in things or something, and I'm avoiding those now to get you to manually get your hands dirty with sewing and stitching the mesh item. Okay, here's the last one. Okay, and now to test that you didn't miss anything, press the tab button and it should smooth out perfectly. Something's wrong at the bottom, so let's go take a look-see. Yeah, we should have gone on. Here's more. Let's see now. Okay, perfect. So now we've got those ventilation holes on both sides, and we took the shortcut by modeling that out only on the one side. So go back to the box mode, and now we'll be adding this thickness of the part that people will be able to see. So select the item or the mesh item, 2 for edges, and double click there, so it will select all of the edges all around. Now get those two so that you can marquee through them, like something like that. Then you hold control in and you marquee all of these edges. But ensure that those small edges there, those ones, ensure that you do not unselect them. So if you unselected them, just go in ahead and reselect them, because it's going to look funny if you do what we're going to do next and you didn't select them. Alright, and control double click to unselect that guy. Zoom out, and now what we'll be doing is pressing Z, click on it, and scale it in about that much. Hold shift in, click on it again, and push it in like that, and use R and scale it down like that, and with W bring it down quite far. Now we'll be adding an edge loop around these faces that towards the top by using edge loop tool, and on the border there we'll just drop an edge, and I just hope that's not going to influence now. it shouldn't. Yeah, okay, so okay, we accidentally did something here. It's when we scaled. So press 2 to select edges, and you select those two edges, W to move, and just tuck them back to where they belong. So bring that down. Can you? No. Alright, but that's deep enough because the viewer of this won't see that part. So now if we press tab, we've got almost the correct look. It's just this rounding at the top is not what it should look like. So I'm going to add loop and just add one there and one there, or by holding shift into do2. Now we've got a much sharper look on that. I see yes, there's some more peeking out here. Just press 1 and scroll around those few points. You don't even have to be perfect about it. Just tuck them back so that they don't protrude over. And there's some more. I just want to pan so that I can select them properly. If you see you select something in the background, hold control, and just also hotkey drag selector around them. Just tuck that behind there. Not too far. Tell me. Alright. So now we've got one awesome looking guard thingy, and I think it already this guy has got let's smooth this out. Oh my word, come on. Pressing T. Right, for some it's because I converted this to a static mesh, so the smoothing won't work on it. But there we go. We've got the first one, the first elemental part of this modeled out, and in the next video, what we'll be doing is the cylinder bit.